go to game number 2. RSG going on first pick once again. Loi ban out. The favor definitely, the momentum is definitely in the favor of RSG SG. Flash SG on the other hand, what do they have left?
Okay, so let's review what are some of the strategies or some of the ways that they play, right? Number 1, Vanix onto Moskov. That kind of death ball composition is a worthy mention. Just throw the Vanix with the Moskov, play the early game, accelerate his growth, and go crazy. Number 2, allow JPL to play his Cho. I think that whenever JPL plays his Cho, it unlocks a dimension for the team whereby there's so much things that they can do. It also unlocks and enables Hades to continue on with those kind of side lane pushing, split pushing, cross map plays that they so very much love, because JPL is providing information. If Hades wants to go for the side push or not is all well within his own due diligence, if whether he can do it or not.
It feels like you're balancing on the knife's edge right here, right? Using JPL on the Cho to provide that information, so that Hades has a better decision, resources to make a better decision whether to split push or not, or to join the fight. But I really want to see Team Flash, clumping up together as a death ball right here, because it feels like the 4+1 composition is being dealt with by RSG.
Okay, so that means that there is also another direction that we can go for. Okay, Moskov ban by themselves. Okay, so right now we still have got the Lucas currently available. So what they can go for, if the drafting allows them to go for, snowball in the early game. That is where the Lucas joins into the fray. We know that Hades does play a pretty mean Lucas with early game Hunter Strike plus the War Axe. The amount of damage right now is pretty nutty. In fact, make full use of the Lucas before he starts to get a nerf, because I think that he's going to lose like 5% of his damage soon on the next upcoming patch, so make full use of it.
Yeah, definitely, right. But I feel like even though the Lucas was actually quite open last game, he wasn't picked up by both these two teams.
I feel that
even
dropped
the
in
Matilda
priority
as well. Yep. Suffered quite a significant drop, because I feel like teams are starting to realize how to deal with it. But now Kalia getting banned away by the side of Flash SG. First pick wise, the Baxia is open.
Ah, okay. So, but okay, it's going to be Badang first pick. Team Flash now is given that opportunity. There is a lot of direction that they can go. However, I think that the main thing that they want to go is still kind of test the waters. They want to play a little bit more of a countermeasure. So right now with these upcoming 2 picks, it feels more blind to me than it's a counter pick to the first one, because Badang is just an initiator, it's just a setup. So draft your 2 blind picks in order to counteract with that kind of setups, or something that is flexible enough. So what are the flexible picks? Such as
Kimmy. Can put him back into the gold lane. So it used to great success again, Absolute Zero.
Okay.
There's also a potential, like what I mentioned, Baxia. Oh no, hold on a second.
Oh!
You're gonna brute force this. Doubling down. Using the chip as well from the side of JPL, and give Vanix the Harif. You need to make sure that Lord Vanix has his comfort picks. But once again, zone control, right? Badang can basically just face crack, just throw the Harif out of position, out of his Zaman Force, and not able to reset his Chrono Dash.
Okay, so Harif is a relatively self-sufficient gold laner. There isn't exactly a very big need to be able to travel across the map with great speeds. Just general speeds is enough. So, the direction of Lucas is still viable. We can still expect to see Hades split pushing and still being able to join into the battles because of the shortcuts that are being built from the side of Chip.
Last one pass, ladies and gents. RSG brings out the Claw and also the Faramis as scale. Again, Faramis into a Harif is actually a very interesting choice, right? And not apart from the fact that you are more susceptible to the first skill coming out from the side of the Harif, you also allow yourself to get entangled by the ultimate from the Chip, because you need to stick together in close proximities. But if the fight goes on, the Clock should be able to win against a Harif, because once Harif runs out of Zaman Force, the Clock can come in and sweep it in.
That means that if they want to nullify the amount of damage from the Zaman Force, a Hylos will always be a relatively good pick. If they would like to throw Jay into the Badang pick. But we'll see how that eventually goes. If RSG cannot match the kind of damage against the Harif, then the Hylos might be the way to go.
Also an interesting pick. Definitely good, but okay, like what I mentioned,
Kimmy.
Flash SG goes for
But
Kimmy.
that's a mid lane Kimmy.
Mid lane Kimmy, but
Double magic damage.
Double magic damage, a little bit too much this time around. So you need more of a... I think you need to balance it out just a little bit more in terms of the EXP. Looking at Khalid's as well, even if you want to play that kind of roster.
Khalid?
Khalid, Raging Sandstorm right into a Cult Altar.
Okay.
Slice and dice, AoE damage, boom boom bam.
Lucas have AoE damage as well.
Why are you so fixated on
Look,
Lucas?
I'm pushing an agenda.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell.
It looks good right now still.
It's like how my mom
It still
forces me
looks
to
good.
eat my vegetables.
Yeah.
No, I am not eating my vegetables,
Eat
Mom.
your greens.
No.
Okay? Eat your greens.
Baxia being banned
Baxia
right
banned
now.
out, okay.
Makes sense because of the shields coming up from the side of Harif. But of course, apart from that, it allows the Kimi to basically free hit from the back line easier. Nobody to jump onto you.
Look, I know that I've been harping this over and over again.
What?
But here's some reasons why Lucas is great for Team Flash. Number one, he's a snowball hero. Number two, he doesn't need to travel from one lane to the other lane because he's got a chip in his team. Number three, when you use your enhanced skill 1 and you play into the traction pulse, that is crazy. Number four, when the Claude does BMI away, you do have got your Tail Beast Bomb. I forgot the real name of it. So you have the Tail Beast Bomb to chase and kill that Claude that ran away. Number 5 is Handsome.
Wow. Not bad.
Right?
So glad I know this side of Abstract today.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the bans. Gadot Kancha being banned away by the side of Amox as well. We're also expecting maybe more jungle bans from the side of Flash SG perhaps, or even perhaps an EXP ban. The Glue, also kind of interesting ban if you ask me.
For a ban from Team Flash for Glue?
Team Flash.
Okay. I think that's fine as well. Glue is also one of the other heroes that can soak damage pretty well, especially against a Harif in this case.
Ooh, Tigreal ban.
Tigreal.
Oh yeah, sorry, you don't, yeah. I think, yeah, Tigreal ban interesting, right? What I mentioned is you don't want this AoE massive thing because that's something that Jay could potentially play as well. Yeah, I agree.
So at this point, Team Flash have a lot of AoE style, right? They have the Zaman Force. You can catch people with the ranged implosion. That's one thing. A lot of area denial, or rather, they want to play for areas.
Yep.
So far, Team Flash, they ban out the Baxia, they ban out the Tigreal. Seems like the direction that they're going for is not exactly a single direction, but they're looking at two different things. Baxia have got a great tankiness throughout the entirety of the games, while still providing great damage all the way through. Well, they just don't want an implosion on the opposite side to kind of stop what they have on Team Flash's side.
The implosion is really good against a chip, right? Because when you come out with
oh right,
your
it's
ultimate,
a natural counter. Yeah,
it's a natural counter. The second best counter to that is probably I don't know. Crazy idea number 6, a Minotaur. Minotaur ultimate.
I don't think so.
Nah, I don't think so. That's why I called it crazy idea.
Yeah.
Team Flash right here. Do they go for an EXP lane pick right here? I think you do. Terizla looks wonderful as well. Once again.
It feels kind of easy to get out of. But naturally, if for the side of EXP, okay, they stole it away. I have a feeling that they picked up the Hylos because they want to steal it away from RSG. So this kind of leaves the glue for RSG.
Yeah, I think glue is great because especially when they have Faramis on their side, that's why Flash not keen for the glue.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of interesting, right? Now with the Hylos right there for the side of Ken, you're gonna have a lot more frontline. And it's
Alpha Matilda!
Oh my god, not again.
Oh my god, they're going for the combo.
Team Flash, are they ready for it?
Okay, so they are actually going for the Badang XP and the J under the Matilda. This is kind of nutty. This is hands down just a dive comp. So Team Flash, let's think about this. I think that this changes the game altogether. What kind of jungler do they really want in this case? The roaming trio is Matilda, Faramis, as well as the Alpha.
Lucas.
Still okay. So it's still gonna be a Lucas.
Seems like Zay's actually I hear you. Literally went for the Lucas instead. I think you need survivability against RSG's roster. Lucas technically does have a very thick health bar once he goes to the ultimate. Another another contender is definitely Guinevere, but they're running too many magic, so that's why you need somewhere of a balance. Don't forget, high loss, that Ring of Punishment also do magic damage as well.
Oh yeah.
So
Right. So that means that this early game, the early game, actually is also pretty good, right? Team Flash, I think that the both of them can go pretty much neck and neck in terms of that. Oh, actually, this high loss is EXP. So if you look at Badang versus the high loss, technically the Badang would have a way better time. So lane priority on the Badang will be way better. So most of the fights we're looking at Chip and Kimi mid lane going up against Faramis and Mathilda.
So it's going to be very heavy on the opposite side of the turtle, right? Of course, it also relies on how, also, you have to see how JPL really pilots this Chip, because he can appear anywhere, probably try to go up there to help neutralize Ken's wave as well.
So right off the bat, we are going to be looking at Team Flash actually not doing the fast 3 for the jungler. They're immediately just going to make sure that they have a strong, reliable force in the middle lane and wave clear that ASAP. A little bit of a Shandor Stampede is going to do a little bit to Katisi, but nothing too crazy.
Yep. Early game, don't forget, Chip does a lot of damage. Reminds me of a Hilda in terms of the damage in just level 1. So more than happy to deal with it, but don't forget, the Mathilda as well also have nothing damage in the early game.
Oh, interestingly, look at the location of Ken. He's actually proxying the wave. So I think that they are trying to look out for something here. This way, the Badang is slightly slower and they can look to go for some battle. So Jay as well as Bray, they really gotta have to watch out. They have information that the Hylos went for a proxy, which is why they don't want to continue on to this battle despite knowing that JPL is low in HP.
Yeah, we'll talk about the first turtle fight, right? In terms of priority, it's very hard to tell. I think RSG Singapore definitely have a stronger level 4, right? Because you have Ray's ultimate, closest ultimate, and also with the Cult Altar to provide their safety zone to guide the circling eagle as well. It's something of a very annoying thing to deal with.
Closer is not interested at all in taking the man fight. So at this point, down to the bottom lane, we do have the Purify coming from Vanix, but immediately just gets bursted down by Jay, Bray, and CS combo.
Yeah, JPL a little bit too late for the party, unfortunately, but that was a nice gank, right, coming out the bottom. And look at how Bray could just fly easy and rotate around the map even faster alongside with the Mathilda.
As such, now Ken is suffering a little bit from that true damage that Bray is able to bring onto the board. Kurtizi is still shy bit short to reaching level 4. JPL is way away from level 4, and it's only if they are able to get that turtle, then they will be able to do something. And in the meantime, it is going to be fist break going on, while in the meantime, we also do have the nether round just going to be caught. Now Ken rushes right into the face of RSG using the Ring of Punishment to deal decent amount of damage to all across the board, while Hades, that is what we are looking for. The Bichudama clears out onto closer and then gets themselves a double kill.
Yes. Abstract, I'm a convert now. Lucas is good.
Right? Right?
I'm a convert right now. You can see the amount of damage Hades was able to deal. And of course, apart from that, it's the timing coming out from Flash SG. Knowing that Roy actually activated the Cult Altar super early, abuses that, and Ken, that was a wonderful glorious pathway to slow everybody down, then Law and Order to stun everybody, and then Flash SG just follows up.
Okay, so now is where the micro game of JPL is super important. They actually don't need to put so much emphasis down in the bottom lane, and the reason why they do that is as long as JPL is very close and they always have enemies in their in his sight, he can always rush down to them, create a shortcut in the event that Vanix finds himself currently being targeted, and he can always take a shortcut to run away. If whether RSG want to follow through and enter the shortcut, then that is quite literally going to be RSG going into a very slim little tunnel right into the face and delivering themselves over to Flash.
Yep, right now. We're looking at the second turtle already. In terms of power spikes, yes, Flash SG took a very good one. I expect them to snowball out, and Lucas also a very snowbally kind of hero. Vanix, unfortunately, will not be able to join that fight anytime soon. Technically speaking, hold on.
There we go, the shotgun immediately picked up, so Team Flash have got all 5 members, this entire kampong up to the top lane, and look at this, Hades just dealing a massive amount of damage with a killing spree, loaded up for himself.
Okay, add one more list to the phobias, man. I don't want to see Team Flash angry, because that was them angry. 5-man Chip, just take a look at this replay. It is a massacre. Bray, no way for him to basically survive it, not even with closer to Fizz Crack. It basically tickles them, and this is right underneath the turret of RSG Singapore.
Yep, it's a 1-for-3 trade. That is something that Chip will be happy to die for.
That pickup was crazy, man. I wasn't expecting that. I don't think RSG Singapore is expecting that.
Yep.
And that's where Team Flash, you know, when they go into this kind of situation, when they're in the zone like this, they get scary.
So, 4 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. And we are just generally going to be looking at 2,000 gold lead in favor for Flash SG. The turtle is now going to be spawned up for them as well. We got Starlim Science has picked up for Vanix. So that is going to be Vanix that try and go neck and neck in terms of economy against the Claude.
Yep, definitely, right? Don't forget the Claude also does a lot of damage, especially shredding damage against Lucas when he goes to ultimate again.
And just like that, Ken rushes right in with the glorious pathway. JPL flickers in and drops the shotgun. The rest of the members coming from the side of Flash is just going to be stepping on the paddle and hoping that they will be able to bring Bray down. And indeed, they will. Closer is going to be one of the 2 members that's going to be left remaining. Wow, that is a very far BMI dash away.
I wasn't expecting that one, but then again, you see how Flash SG, they're angry. They are really angry.
Yeah, angry.
They're really angry. Man.
Oh, man. Closer almost down, but the main thing is they would want to bring down this T1 turret just so close. A little bit more Katizi. There we go.
Yeah, just one more touch on the side of Katizi managed to crack the open. At the same time, CS was able to do considerable amount of permanent damage down the bottom lane, but now your mid lane is cracked open for the side of RSG. Feels like, you know, Flash SG learned, they understand from the absolute zero game, and now they know how to deal against a Mathilda Alpha.
So now, what exactly is something that RSG gotta have to do with this? As for now, they can do it, coming in from CS, but still get knocked out from JPL. This is gonna be a relatively fair trade. While the Spear of Alpha from the side of Braid, wait, that dealt almost nothing to Ken.
Yeah, of course, Hylos is the pony from hell, right? You cannot kill this Hylos, but of course, you know, that is a very good kill for the side of Team Flash. They definitely need it. They need to get Vanix a snowball going.
Immediately. Doesn't seem like Hades is caring about anything at all.
Oh.
Just the 2 of them is more than enough to take down this Badang.
I almost forgot in this particular meta, the Badang ultimate doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Tickles.
Yeah, it isn't really just a tickling Badang.
But it's the amount of CC that you basically it's like a 3-second stun right there.
Fair enough. And let's not forget, even after getting out of the stun, you still need to navigate yourself around the wall.
Yeah, so that's the value of the Badang. I think Closer needs to remember that he doesn't do damage.
Yep, it immobilized the glorious pathway as well. We do have the Death Realm just going to be popped, and that is going to be the Death Realm is going to be gone. Well, in the meantime, this Real Alpha coming from the side of Bray, hoping that he will be able to go back home a little bit faster, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. CS is going to be holding his ground. He's slapping away, only for Hades to claw his way through, dealing a bunch of damage.
Man, I am a convert. I am part of the Lucas cult now, Abstract, because Hades is just piloting Lucas like crazy. The snowball is an avalanche right here, but we've been here before. Team Flash right now needs to try to end the game as quickly as possible as we take a look at this replay, because man, I don't think RSG Singapore is ready for this kind of aggression. Ken using the glorious pathway is just literally putting down a green carpet to slow. You see everybody flying from everywhere. Roy immediately gets deleted. CS is unable to find a very good angle from that blazing duet.
Can you just see the massive amount of damage that this 9-tailed fox is delivering to RSG the moment that he's got an S1 cooldown off cooldown? That's all great. But in the meantime, that is going to be Distraction Pouch that's going to be connecting on Bray, locking him down onto his feet, and he's unable to do anything as they are completely tied up.
I love how JPL is using this chip, right? Usually you see I mentioned chips, right? There's 2 different kinds of chips in the world. We make it 3 now. A chip that wants to fight front to back uses the ultimate right on a frontliner, and then everybody from the side of the enemy will just back off, right? The back line is completely safe from that ultimate. Second kind of chip is the ones that flanks, try to create space in between the frontliner, enemy frontliner, and the backliner. But JPL chip flickers forward just to use the ultimate.
That's kind of nutty, huh? And it has been a consistent pattern. Oh no, the Ring of Punishment clocks CS out of the animation of recall. This game is, well, for the lack of a better word, screwed for RSG.
No.
It's 24k versus 31k. And we are looking at an early game composition from RSG.
Yeah, but we've been here before. We've seen this before in game 1. I wouldn't count, if I were you, I wouldn't count RSG Singapore out just yet. Anything and everything can happen in this land of dawn.
Certain levels of copium here. You want to see a comeback from RSG, but it will take time.
Holy Crystal already secured by the side of Vanix already, Abstract. So
yes,
a substantial amount of damage. JPL is literally guarding Vanix all across the map. Right now, it's just RSG Singapore barely holding on to try to defend. We're still waiting for CS to pick up the last item. Corrosive, once the Corrosive Sight is up,
down bot
does have the damage.
So, they have pretty much saw that Claude is trying to push his way down in the bottom lane and do whatever they can. So this is going to be a pretty good push down at the bottom, just so that they will be able to take a winning fight at the Lord. Not that they kind of need it, but this is still macro play at its finest in order to get an uncontested Lord for a better chance of victory.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic, Abstract. The fact that, RSG Singapore was able to solve Team Flash in game number 1 regarding how, they identified Team Flash like to do a 4+1, right? And now they're doing the same against, Flash SG. And if you notice as well, Flash SG this time around, they're not doing a 4+1.
Nope,
even though they can do it, but the fact is, JPL with the ultimate brings everybody together.
Exactly. That itself changes the entire dynamic of what Team Flash would want to do. As such, Vanix can just go off and just clear whatever waves that he wants, funnel all the farm for himself, clear the enemy's creep camps, and he's not afraid of anything. Why? Because the portal appears behind him and is safe and sound already.
Yeah. Top side, there's still a Lord push that RSG Singapore needs to answer to. Bottom lane as well, thanks Observer. It's just minions hard pushing, working against RSG Singapore. Ultimate from the side of Brave just to get out of dodge. Man.
I think at this point in time, in 11 minutes, with the 3 item from the side of CS, this is going to be CS's game. The moment that he goes in with the Blazing Duet is going to dictate if whether the game will be a win or it would be a loss. As long as he's not caught, he should be generally fine.
I think it's about closer, right? Remember, we've seen this before. The Badang can potentially change the game, right? And CS, the Blazing Duet, yeah, you can see the Vanix, the AA actually start to hurt. Just, you don't even need to look at the AA. Just look at the level difference. Vanix is level 4, whereas closest, the EXP lane is only at level 10.
At this point, I think RSG is doing a relatively good job in trying to flush Flash SG away. JPL doesn't have a lot of HP to work with, so even for themselves, now hold on a second, the glorious pathway coming from the side of Ken, we're just going to be focusing a little bit more on what CS is doing. He's trying to put himself at the back line, so ensuring that he's going to be safe and sound all this time. They prioritize their own lifeline over the turret's life, so they have lost the T3, top in the middle.
Yeah. Right now, a bit of a defense coming up on the side of RSG, just holding on to a hair's breadth down the bottom lane. There's nothing from the side of RSG's map. All the junk creeps, most of them are taken away, and apart from that, you also risk running into Team Flash.
It's only 12 minutes and 48 seconds in. We're looking at a 10,000 gold lead in favor for Flash. This is a dominating early laning phase, early game, and mid game. And it's only 17-18 minutes into it where we are looking at kind of like an end game slash late game kind of scenario where economy is not that important anymore. We're mostly just looking at 5v5 slash macro game.
You know what? I like it when Team Flash is here.
Look, them angry, huh?
Yeah. I think I've got past traumas.
Trauma issues.
Yeah, anyway, why am I trauma dumping in the grand finals of MPL Singapore Season 9 right now? Because the main trauma coming up from RSG right here is to not give the Lord over the side of Flash SG.
Lawrence Pathway just gonna be connecting, but we got the Spear of Alpha as well, pushing Ken in a pretty bad spot. But for now, it's just going to be a complete pandemonium going on as we've got Hades that manages to bring Bray down, all the way down to the bottom side. We've got Closer in the top spot as well. Roy finds himself over there, both of them with the crown, fool! While Hades is still gonna be safe and sound and A-OK. CS goes in, 1v1, only for him to somehow be taken down by a homing missile coming in from Vanix. That summon force is going to come in triumph over RSG.
Man, I love Team Flash when they're angry. Man, this is definitely a different beast.
Scary.
It is.
1-1 again. So far, it kind of seems as though we are looking at a little bit of a pattern, isn't it? First 2 games is gonna go both ways. This is pure and absolute cinema.
If everything is an absolute cinema, then what is an absolute cinema?
MPLSG Season 9. We got everything.
Has been very entertaining. Actually, I enjoyed myself.
We literally have everything.
I could go there, abstract. You're
can't
setting
go
me.
there.
You're setting it up so easily. But man, Team Flash, like I said, remember what I said. I remember I was talking to some of the people on site yesterday. I was like, when Team Flash went down to the lower brackets, I'm like, I love this. Unfortunately, even though I'm supporting Team Flash.
Sadistic man.
Yeah, because it's boring if you know the outcome, right?
I mean,
The stakes
True.
were higher right now, and not only
True.
just that, the brand identity is at stake.
yeah.
And now a new contender comes in, a potential upset that could also happen earlier in the day and even right now.
A full Singaporean team, by the way. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
No imports coming in from RSG, and they're vying for the crown here.
Yeah, and not only just that, it's like the way that Team Flash plays when their emotions get in the way. It's so entertaining to watch because you don't see this kind of Hades, I think, in the first 2 games of Absolute Zero. And
Right.
even in game number 1 earlier just now. But when Hades just gets so angry, man.
Well, we're gonna see if whether this will be a continuous momentum coming in for our fellow friends at Team Flash, as this is quite a good showing. In fact, this part is the dominant showing, if you ask me, right? And if whether RSG have got an answer to this, that is the main question. Right. The initial draft really dictates that a snowball jungler would be a very good answer to this composition, and I'm glad that Team Flash picked it up and went through with that notion.
And apart from that, right, remember we talked about in between game 1 and game 2, Hades needs a slightly tankier assassin. Lucas fits that bill.
Technically, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep.
He is a tankier, not say assassin by name, but his damage resembles an assassin.
And he has the mobility of an assassin.
Yes. Solely because of the fact that Hunter Strike actually really enables Lucas. And at this point in time, I think that without the Hunter Strike, Lucas cannot be meta. It really relies a lot on the Hunter Strike. So only when the Hunter Strike has been is picked up, then we'll start to see the snowball eventually happening, and the snowball will work out for Lucas depending on what is that time that he picks it up.
Yep. And of course, I think from the side of Hades, he also piloted the Lucas really well, right?
Yes.
Understanding his ultimate timings, and the whole team played around that. Because I've seen also teams using the Lucas, not having the ultimate before entering, but that also makes you very predictable as a Lucas, and that's why he's starting to fall a little bit of meta.
So it's always safe to say that Team Flash, this is yet another way that they can go around it, right? Unfortunately for RSG, they didn't have the opportunity to play into the late stages of the game. I would say that the Claude is their late game insurance policy that didn't really get there, right? They have the Mathilda Alpha combination that we want to see in the early stage. It should be able to, in theory, melt down that high loss effectively. However, it's not only just the high loss that they gotta have to look out for, because I feel that the Alpha into the high loss is just playing into the palms of Team Flash, because that's what we want you to do. We want you to throw your damaging spells to try to bring down our high loss as soon as possible. In the meantime, while my high loss is soaking up these damage, my assassin, which is Lucas as we speak, goes and use his skill and his damage on more important members.
Yep. And apart from that, don't forget, Lucas is tanky as an assassin.
Yeah. He is slightly tankier than your average assassin. And not to forget, once you go into the Unleash the Beast, you do have, if I remember correctly, you do have a
15 to 20%
damage reduction, right? It's damage reduction, not hybrid defense, right?
Stats.
Oh, it's stats. Damn. Okay.
That's
so
almost like an item right there.
Yeah. So technically, it is a it is hybrid defense in some sense, unless you're telling me like hybrid defense and damage reduction.
No damage.
Just
damage, all stats, i.e. your armor, your movement speed, your
Okay.
everything. Basically your health as well. That's why you see when you unleash the beast, you literally see his HP bars goes big.
Okay, 7 is to 23. That is the scoreline. But anything that we gotta have to kind of note about itemizations?
I think definitely a lot of steady plays coming. Even though if you take a look for CS, right, you got your most of your items coming down. You expect this clock to be able to do the damage, but in the later parts of the game, it feels like they're merely tickling because he's also constantly getting busted down by the side of Team Flash. And just look at the items coming out from Katisi. It's such a cheap item. You don't really need a lot. Glowing one, and then after that, you just build a Sky Piercer. You're golden, literally.
So okay, I think nothing too out of the ordinary. I really do like the blade armor being picked up coming in from both ends. In fact, Hades went for the 3 core items, being the. I wonder if Queen's Wing is counted as core.
Yes, score.
It's counted as core.
Yeah, because you will usually bring the Lucas, because Lucas has the same problem as an Alpha, right? You go in, it's very hard to get out, so you really will fight to the death. So you need additional, more damage reduction coming out from the Queen's Wing as well. And I love the Blade Armor as well. Blade Armor responds over to the side of CS onto that Clot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically making it really hard to take down the Lucas.
Why you hit yourself? Why you hit yourself?
Yeah,
One, we have a
as a marksman, I've done this before.
I see.
I've done a vengeance. I've actually, as a Beatrix, on a shotgun.
Sounds fun.
Against Alpha with a vengeance and Thornmail. I effectively shot myself
To death.
Yes.
So not only are you a sadist, you are a masochist, and you have a dominatrix on the other end.
No, I don't.
Tell me about the alpha then.
No. No. But yeah,
Man set himself up for this.
I've done that before.
Huh?
Marksmen.
Wait, what?
Oh no, I mean the
You've
marksmen.
done
The
that.
marksmen hurting themselves. All right. All marksmen out there. When you see the Duran being popped, sorry, the vengeance being popped, do not basic attack. PSA out there.
Yep. So make sure you guys know what's going on there. Okay. Have some trigger discipline.
Yes.
Trigger discipline. Okay, so now let's talk about game number 3. I do want to kind of identify what they gotta do. Okay, of course, MVP, I think it's the Lucas. We don't really have to, kind of. Yeah. It's actually not? Oh.
The MVP powers
Oh,
bestowed
crap.
upon
no.
you.
No, it's not.
But okay, you want to talk about game number 3? Let's
Yep.
talk about game number 3, right? I feel like right now it's just, I think it's just it's just a battle right now. Right now it's just like you use this roster against this roster, and then after that the next person coming in with a better card. So it's like it's a lot of back and forth
So
between
you're
these
just kind
two
of like
teams right now.
stepping up on one another.
Yes, correct.
Right? Up.
Yes,
So
correct.
that means in terms of the pattern, right? If it's going back and forth, that means
It feels like a
takes
back
the
and forth.
first. That means RSG will get 4 wins first.
Hey, wait, huh?
Uh-huh.
No. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, if you notice how the previous draft was used to counter against the next draft, that sort of idea. The next draft is actually meant to counter against the previous draft, and at the same time, I think this time around, Amox, I feel like maybe a bit more you could chew. I think the Faramis pick was interesting, but maybe that's the one that really needs to work, because if you notice, Faramis is not, even though yes, he does a lot of damage, he's not known to have big busty amount of damage.
Actually,
As
you know what?
compared-
Yeah, I
as
do
compared
agree
to
with you
other
on that.
mid laners.
I actually do agree with you on that. I think that they doubled down onto the Faramis a little bit too early, I suppose. Because Faramis, I feel that Faramis is a lot more situational, right? Faramis was a B2 pick, correct?
Yes.
So that means that is a response after the R1 and R2. What's R1 and R2? Remind me
R1
again.
was a Harif
Harif
and Chip.
Harif and Chip.
Yep. So
okay.
So if you take a look at this current meta, I think right now RGSG is just running out of damage. Literally, it's a common case of you don't have enough damage in the early game. That's why they're unable to win these fights. Alpha, yes, the damage comes in through his sustain. He's basically chipping your damage over and over again.
Right.
But you're really lacking in terms of the damage department. The Faramis does do damage, but not a lot. Not a lot as compared to Akimi.
Yeah.
Right.
And you also gotta have to understand that Faramis's burst realistically comes from lanes as well. In the event that, like, the more people, the better it is, right? So Unga Bunga, more people, more damage.
Yep. Now, a crazy idea number, lost count, I think 7 already. Badang, I think closer on that Badang. If he goes back into your standard Badang build,
Damage Badang.
your damage Badang, I think RGSG could have fared even better.
Okay.
Yeah, they're lacking. After a while, if you notice, they're starting to run out steam in terms of the damage as well.
Okay. So, wow.
Yep.
Ken, you are the pony of hell indeed. 107,000 damage taken. You know what? At this point in time, just pull his bar all the way to the opposite side, man. Just pull it to the opposite part of the screen.
Just don't give production some more ideas. And more work. Name me more work. But you can tell almost immediately as we stay on the screen a little bit more, a little bit longer, right? Because if you take a look, right, the most of the damage is not enough coming from RSG.
Yep. As such, it is gonna be the Gatokacha from. Wait, hold on a second.
No, I think we go back to the previous.
Yeah. Okay.
we go back to the previous
this
one.
is the previous one.
Yeah,
okay,
that was
this is
the previous game.
one. Okay. So I would like to say that it is not Gatokacha. I would say that it is the Hylos. It will be the Hylos as the MVP. You just take a look at the amount of damage taken. I think that's really fair enough,
So
right?
you want to give it to the Lucas?
Yes,
Make
but
up your mind.
But you know, sometimes not all not all heroes wear capes. So now we don the cape on someone that doesn't have the cape.
Yeah, let's take a look at the
Because,
MVP
yeah.
this time round.
Lucas already
It's
have the cape.
definitely going over to the height. Wow, okay.
Wow.
Hylos, Pony of Death.
Pony
right
of
there.
Death. Yeah,
Ken?
Pony of Death.
Really stepping up in his role as well. He's also providing the glorious pathway, really bringing his team to glory.
Yep. 4:2 is to 15. Wait, 4 kills? Very interesting. 4 kills, 2 deaths, 15 assists, with a total of 79% kill participation and with a lot of damage taken. In fact, 68% of total damage taken within the team.
Yeah, and don't forget, with the Revitalize, he's able to sustain even longer. The Glorious Pathway also heals him as well, so you need to really, really do a lot of insight. A lot. You gotta need it even harder in order to deal the damage against Hylos.